Hi, Miss Diane. Hey, Casey.
Hey,
How's it going? I wasn't sure if
good.
everybody's remembering. Spring break is breaking right now.
Yeah. How are you?
Let's see. All right, so I'm finishing up like winning with buyers today. Um, we were gonna try to do a panel, but it was kind of hard to do with everybody on vacation and kind of spread out right now. So we're gonna finish this up kind of where we left off. I'm gonna give everybody a couple minutes. I'm gonna post on Facebook really fast too. Feel like we need some music or something till somebody gets here. All right. Okay, so last week we went through um, really kind of capturing, connecting, and closing the leads. So this week we're going to go through preparing for the buyer's consultation and a little bit about what the buyer's consultation, should look like. Um, and Miss Diane, pop in anytime if you like best practices because you're a pro at these things. So, um, we can make it kind of mastermindy since there's just a few of us. So, Casey, if you have questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask, okay?
All right.
But we'll just kind of go through here. Yeah. And oh, I forgot. I was going to post on Facebook just to remind people to pop on here today. Um, Next week, we are having in office. Our team meeting will be back in office next week. And we're actually having Dynasty Wealth come, who is a um, company who is going to teach us a little bit about like tax strategy with, when you are self-employed and how agents can help shield themselves from high tax bills and things like that. So um, just be on the lookout for that. And even though you're new, Casey, it will be something you could always watch out for, or go ahead and learn about now.
Right.
Might as well.
I'm soaking it all up.
Starts now. All right. Um, so I'm gonna go through this. Diane, like I said, stop me anytime. I hope you're doing good. I haven't seen you in a while. But okay, so next step after getting the lead, obviously, is preparing for the buyer's consultation. Um, So knowing your buyers. So who are you going for and kind of what are the demographics of the person that you're going for? Who's your sweet spot? What about your age group? Is it your, you know, heritage? Is it the people at your church? Is it your old coworkers, like kind of having a good idea of who you're going for. Is it first time home buyers? Is it downsizers? Is it, seniors? Who do you want to focus on? Um, and knowing there are tons of demographics to focus on, but it can't service everybody, right? So who do you want to service? And then from there, once you decide who you're going for, you want to build an appointment system for success. So, first of all, you want to have a strong value proposition, um, and have your own kind of customized buyer guide. So, you can find buyer's guides inside of Command, inside Connect tab, and also inside of the PCX platform that you guys have access to. Um, and I've also created one, honestly, that's a little bit more. Um, like how I would strategize, honestly, getting a listing. So I think I sent it to you, Stephen. And it's pretty short and sweet to the point, but it's kind of because I've been doing it for so long that I kind of know the strategy, right? So I don't go much into me personally, like I don't go. well, I guess I sent you the seller one actually, Stephen. I don't go into every single detail. I'm just going to make sure they know the strong points because they start to like glaze over, right? So, anyways, having a strong value proposition, and then a customized buyer guide. So, what is your value proposition? Do you specialize in? What do you bring to the table that's a little bit different? So, if you don't know that, that's okay. That's your activity for the day, right? So, write that down. If you don't know what your value proposition is, then you need to figure it out today. So, um, speed is power is what it's been a motto lately. So, honestly, yeah, that's your homework by the end of the day. So, what are you going to bring to the table? Even if it's like what's in your background, like Stephen, I know you were in IT before. Um, Casey, I know, or maybe not IT, you were in accounting or something. Sorry, I'm a little
Yeah.
bit under the weather. Whatever you were in before, how can you use your past experience to build out your value proposition? Right? So, Casey, even if it's that you're a hard worker or that you're going to do whatever it takes to get the job done, right? Those types of things.
Yeah.
Um, just be thinking about what makes you different for a buyer's agent, right? And then adding a little bit of you to your buyer's guide. So that's what it means by like a customized buyer's guide. Like the one on PCX is great and you can just edit it and just add a little bit of you into it, right? Um, but then here is an appointment kind of prep checklist. So obviously you're gonna confirm your date and time, the location, ensure all decision makers are gonna be there, complete your buyer's guide, um, prepare the meeting space, and review the lead sheet. So um, truly just make sure that everything is working, right? And then also the lead sheet is something that you like where you're asking questions about what their goals are, right? And the buyer's profile. So making sure that it's kind of clear in your mind. And if you don't know that 100%, then bring that with you so that you can make sure that you're kind of answering those questions. And you can find that in PCX as well. Um, but all kinds of things about what are they looking for? Where do they want to be? How much do they want to spend a month? What's their lifestyle look like? Where do they spend most of their time? If they work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., they might want to live close, right? If they go to the gym every single day and they go to the yoga studio in Midtown, maybe they want to consider living near Midtown, right? So whatever that looks like, asking them what they do with their free time is always a good question. Where do they spend most of their time, right? Is it at work? Is it with their kids in sports? Are they in Lobos, so they need to be near Collierville, even though their kids go to private school, whatever. Just kind of digging deeper and asking good questions. Um, so building an appointment system again, preparation process, understanding the market, knowing the conversations and materials, using the communication techniques that build rapport, be a consultant, not just an agent, and then be a facilitator. So Um, a decision facilitator, sorry. What does it mean to be a decision facilitator? It's an open question. Casey, what do you think that means?
The ability to make decisions. Um, I don't know, or okay, facilitator. So I guess maybe to help them come to the decision themselves. So ask the right questions to help them.
Yes.
Okay.
That is that was great. Yes, that's definitely what it means. How can you ask enough questions that it almost is like it was their idea? And it is like you're just helping them discover, right? What they really want, what they're looking for, and what is most important to them. So that they don't feel like you're trying to sell them something because you're giving them exactly what they want. And they decided what they wanted, and you're just giving them what they decided, right?
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. Um, have an appointment system. This just says take action. So This is a few things to do. So, have an appointment system in place to ensure a successful consultation, ending with a signed buyer's rep. Have the materials prepared in advance. So, update your buyer's guide and value prop, and then follow up to confirm the appointment and prepare in advance. Would it be helpful for you guys to go through a buyer's consultation, like
Yes.
me showing you?
Yes. And where to find it?
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Um, So in this phase, you do most of the talking, your buyers do most of the listening. So this is kind of um, you talking through your value prop. However, let's see, this is just giving you a little list. Do the needs analysis. So begin with the needs analysis, review the purchasing process, review the mortgage and lending process, and then educate your buyer. So I'm going to just show you guys, honestly, a listing presentation. And then we can role play it because I think that'll be more helpful than just walking you through what it could look like. Um, so let's see. And you guys obviously stop me if you have questions, but um, let's see. This is the one from Command. Yeah, perfect. So it's not too many pages. So inside of PCX, did you guys see where I went to get that?
Um, I'm trying to get the PCX.
Oh, you're good. Um, Hi, Justin. It looks like you're connecting, but we missed you last week when you were on vacation. Um, Anyways, so today, Justin, we're really just going through like buyers consultation and winning with buyers. So you can pop in and answer any questions. I just figured it would help the couple people that are on to go through a buyer's presentation. So I know that's kind of like a waste of your time, but I'm gonna do that. You're the best. Um, anyways, um, when you guys go into PCX, you'll go to resources under buyers here, and it has a couple of different presentations. This one that says command is the one that shows you, like, it's straight from command that you can just use and edit. Um, so well, let me show you this. So you can obviously put your headshot here and edit it to kind of sound more like you, look more like you, whatever that looks like. Um, And so, honestly, most of this is going to be something that you just kind of hand them. But first thing you're going to do, right? So, if we're just role playing it, is sit down with them and learn about them, right? How can you connect with them? So, we talked about that last week. Connect with them on a personal level, meaning like, oh, so good to see you. Like, let's just talk about you, right? Like, how's life? Do they have kids? Where do they, like we just talked about? Where do they live? Where do they spend most of their time? Where do they want to live? How much money do they want to spend on a house? Kind of just talking through those things. Um, and then all of this is obviously just kind of teaching them some of the terms that they might hear so that they can take this home with them. Um, but this is kind of where you're going to live, right? So this is where you truly like teach them about the process. So the rest of this, I really personally don't read it to them. I give them this presentation, right? So that they can read it. And I just really walk them through the process so that they're comfortable and that they know what to expect every step of the way. Um, so you're going to do the buyer lead sheet, right? So you're going to talk to them about what they're looking for, how much money do they want to spend every month, um, and what's most important to them, right? So if they have kids, then maybe like, oh, is a school district important? Is it important for you to be in a certain place? Like those certain things. So just talking to them through that. Um, and then once you kind of really get to know them and their situation, then you would walk them through this, right? Buying 101. So, um, how home buying works. So I always start with this and just say, like, first step is obviously picking a great agent. Hopefully, by the end of this conversation, that'll be me, right? Go ahead and say that on the front end. And that's how you can kind of close it easier on the back end. When I first started, I was nervous to get people to sign buyer's reps. Honestly, I was nervous to ask them to sign it. Um, but if you start off kind of jokingly like that, honestly, and then walking them through it, there's you should be confident that they're going to sign at the end. Um, Anyway, so I always say like, hey, number one is partnering with a great agent. So hopefully by the end of this conversation, that will be me. And then I tell them a little bit about how the process is going to work, right? So I'm going to tell them like, hey, I know you want to spend X amount of dollars by the end of this, like, find out their situation, like we talked about last week. Are they worried about credit? Are they worried about the cost? Are they worried about the down payment? Trying to find out like what are their not hiccups, what are their gaps or what are their fears that you can kind of bridge the gap. Um, and ease that for them. So if they're like, oh, I'm really worried. My lease isn't up until August. I don't really want to get started yet. Um, totally. You can say like, oh, I totally understand. Like, we'll talk about that later, right? Like, no big deal. Because by the end of it, you're going to kind of have a conversation with them about timing and what that looks like. Um, so I'm like, it feels like it's so quiet, but it's fine. Um,
Listen.
it's, anyways, so yeah, so you'll kind of talk them through that and how can you, what are the, like, as you're talking to them, you'll hear like, what are the things they're afraid of during the process. And you can kind of address those things. So I'll tell them like, look, by the end of this, I'm going to get you with a lender who I think would be good for your situation. Like this lender is great at helping you get a plan for your credit, or this lender has a great program where you can get 100% financing or whatever that looks like. Um, so, yeah, first thing they're gonna do is partner with us, and then we're gonna get them with a great agent. And then I always tell them a little bit about how the home search goes. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna set you up on a home search, and like we said last week, because some of you weren't here, so I'll say it again. Sometimes the buyer is gonna find their house before you do, because they're looking for themselves all day, every day, right? Like if a new house pops up in their criteria, they're going to get notified and they're going to go searching for it. If you're in the middle of meetings or calls or, dealing with kids, like you may not see it as fast as they do. Um, but I always tell people, you may see it before I do, but truly where I come in is negotiating. So if I see something that I think like, ooh, this is something that this person would love, I'm going to send it directly to you. But you're going to get I'm going to make sure that you get every single thing that comes onto the market. And of course, we have off-market opportunities with private collection, and apparently, we'll hear more about some Zillow off markets soon too. So I don't know if you guys saw that um, announcement this morning. Justin, did you see that? Yeah. Anyways, so talk to them about like, hey, when you find a home that you love, send it my way so I can see kind of what you like. And I kind of get a good idea of what I'm looking for. So I'll tell them, that. And then, of course, we'll go look at anything that they like. And I'll tell them too that I'm going to do some research and make sure that, what they need even exists, like we talked about last week, doing that MLS homework. Um, so then I go through like, okay, once you find a home, and you find the one that you love, that's when the negotiation starts. So, at that point, we would make an offer. I'll run some comps, make sure that, it's listed at a good price. And then you and I will get together to decide how much do you want to offer, and all of the other kind of pieces that you can negotiate in a transaction. Um, and then, of course, this just kind of walks them through every little step. So I tell them like once we're under contract, this is when I legitimately get a piece of paper and a pen and I write down how much they need to expect to pay other than down payment and closing costs. So I'm going to explain down payment and closing costs, but there are also other costs associated with purchasing, right? So making sure they understand earnest money, inspections, termite inspections, appraisal, those things that they're going to pay for during that time under contract that they may not be expecting if all they thought about was down payment and closing costs. Um, so that's something to kind of keep your eye on and make sure that they're super aware of. Because sometimes also they just think about down payment and not closing costs, right? So making sure that they're super aware of everything. And when you're new, if you can't estimate that for them, that's okay. Go back to your title company or your lender and ask them like, hey, what would that down payment look like? Like, what do those closing costs look like? So that you can give them a good estimate. And tell them like, as you come across a house, then that will be something that we make sure that we have a solid estimate on before, you know, writing an offer. Um,
Yeah.
and then I tell them a little about, you know, preparing for closing. So once we go under contract, you'll give earnest money. We'll order these inspections. This is how much it's going to cost you, you know, at least in a roundabout way. And then, or like general, because it is based on square footage. And so I kind of explain that to them as well. Like, you know, the inspection cost is based on how big the house is. And then termite inspections, those types of things. And I tell them, like, we're going to do all of those inspections, all of those due diligence within the first 2 weeks. And then if everything turns out well with that, we'll come, you know, we'll get a list of everything that needs to be repaired. And I always warn them, Casey and Steven, just so you know, always warn them that an inspector's job is to find every single thing they could possibly find on this house.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're probably going to get I'm like, you're probably going to get a 40-page report and it's going to freak you out. But don't get freaked out. We're going to walk through it step by step, what really needs to be repaired and what we really need to ask the sellers for, right? So at that point, that's another negotiation time. So we can ask the sellers to fix things. No house is perfect, so we're gonna get things back on it, no, even if it was a brand new construction. But we'll kind of like cross that bridge when we get there. Um, and then, but once we've negotiated that and we've come to terms with the seller, then we're really just waiting for closing. So at that point, you know, the closing attorney and the lender will be in communication and they'll be getting all the documents together and they'll make sure you have a good idea of what to bring to the table, how much money you need to bring. Um, and then we'll be pretty much waiting for closing day until it's time to go do our final walkthrough and go to closing. So now that's kind of like a general overview, but I really don't go into crazy detail. I just give them a broad overview so that I don't want to bore them, not even bore them with the details. They're gonna forget. And then you're gonna be like, I just told you this. So still, every single step of the way during this process, you're gonna remind them, right, of what what's the next step. Like, okay, next step is this, right? Hey, don't forget we talked about this, right? Um, because they're gonna have this, but then they're still gonna forget. Um, so uh congrats, you're pre-approved. Um, so this is gonna be some things that they uh, when they're in financing, some things actually for you guys to learn too, but what they're going to need to prove, you know, that they can purchase and some do's and don'ts. I do always tell them, like, don't go out and buy anything, especially on a credit card. Excuse me, especially on a credit card, because that'll hurt your purchasing power and possibly make it to where you can't buy. And also a new thing that's come up is these like afterpay payments and stuff. I would tell them to quit those as fast as possible because those are hurting people. Because if you're paying it every single week and you never stop getting those loans, then it's a part of your DTI. Um, so anyways, I just wanted to at least go through what the process looked like for you guys so that you had a good idea. Um, but let's see. Casey, how's it going with your buyer?
We're going to look at a house tomorrow.
Yay, that's exciting.
Yes.
Okay. Justin, what is your ratio of like buyers to sellers? Sorry, I know you're just being supportive and just tuning in, huh?
It's changed. I don't know exactly right now, but at our so far year to date closing, looks like it's about 50-50 so far. 50% buyers, 50% sellers.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It looks like it's 50-50, about 50% buyers, 50% sellers.
Okay, cool. Um, Perfect. So I was just curious, if you're still doing both. Are you still, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like trying not to be sick, but I'm a little bit. I'm like, I need a vacation, I think. Um, I told Kirsten I even went into the gym this morning, like thinking it would give me endorphins. And I was like, nope, it didn't work. Um, Anyways, I don't remember what I was even gonna say. But okay, so this is where Justin wins. And I think in my head at least is the post close. Like once you have a client, you have a client for life because you're gonna stay in touch with them forever. Um, I'll go through this since we have some time. Really, the rest of this, y'all, it is in Connect. I'm going to show you where to find it. See up here, command and then Connect. You can just type in When Buyers and it's going to bring you to the slides. So if that's something that you want to study or need to study, then you can kind of pull this back up. But this is kind of where you keep a buyer and a client forever is really the post close. So let's see. This says real play right away. So grow your network with gratitude. Write as many thank you notes as you can to past clients and vendor partners that you've recently worked with. Customize the note with personal message and drop it in the mailbox when you leave class. So, anyways, that might be something that we should think about doing, but this is obviously supposed to be a longer class. But even if you're new, you can do something like this, right, to start strumming up business, getting to know people. And honestly, a handwritten note goes such a long way, right? So
Yeah.
that's one way post close to just keep in touch with people and make them feel special. So, um, so how you kind of create a client for life is obviously putting them in your database, right? Continue to
Yeah.
serve them at a high level. Um, and then, of course, getting like reviews and testimonials. If you don't have a Google business page, it's free. Um, you just go to you do have to have a Gmail, but you have one through KW. But then you can create like a Google My Business page for you personally and get reviews there. Um, and then, of course, like connect them on socials, right? Um, but how do you, like we've talked about, still give them value, right? So it's spring right now. Maybe it's, they have a pool and you can connect with a pool company who maybe will give them a discount for being your client. So sometimes you have to get creative. So maybe they have, I don't know, Bermuda grass and they want to spray that green stuff on there, whatever that is. Whatever it is that you can help them with or remind them of that has to do with their house um, is something that you can kind of a reason to talk to them, right? A reason to still give them service even though they are not in the middle of buying, so that you have a good reason to call them. So it's no fun. I think people have a mind like block calling people for quote unquote no reason. So if that's a mind block for you, that's okay. Find a reason. Say like, oh, okay, it's springtime or the kids are about to get out of school. Literally the call can be, hey, what are y'all's plans for this summer? Right? That can be a reason to call people. And then making sure that, their air conditioning is serviced. Like whatever that looks like. Um, so let's see. We won't do that homework, but uh, let's see. Create clients for life by staying top of mind and asking for business and referrals. Use social media to stay in touch and reach new leads. Continue to offer value to clients, vendors, and listing agents and sellers. Request feedback via surveys, online reviews, and have a system in place for getting your files organized and orderly. Um, I like that, like keeping in touch. How do you add value to the listing agent when you're on the buyer side? That's very smart. So obviously, like I've probably gotten it like twice. a note from the other agent just saying thank you for a great transaction. And when you do that, honestly, it just kind of helps you have good relationships in the market, which are always valuable. Um, and then, of course, like it says, continue to add value to the seller. Like you may not have their information, but if you did, you could find a way to add value there too. Um, so let's see. Retrieve your one thing statement from the end of each chapter and write them again here. Sorry, we didn't really do that part, but um, anyways, I just wanted to finish up the winning with buyers portion. Do y'all have any like scenarios? Let's go. Sorry, I'm going to stop sharing. Um, Casey and Steven, that um, you're going through right now, buyers that you've had a talk with recently that you need help, figuring out next steps.
Well, thank God this is my sister because I'm just now getting this home buyer guide printed out. I finally found it perfect. So and then she was out of town this weekend. I was gonna try to go through this with her, but anyways, I haven't even went through this with her yet, but she's gonna let me go through it with her. So I get to practice with her tonight when she
Okay.
gets home. And because until I do this, I really don't have a lot of questions. I have been speaking with Rebecca though. She's kind of been helping me a little bit along the way. Um, and she's like willing to, be on a Zoom meeting whenever I do go through these papers with her, just in case I'm not sure of what it is I'm asking her to sign. So that's awesome.
Okay. Rebecca Edwards is going to help you a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay, cool. What about other lead gen? Have you had any other conversations with buyers or with your sphere?
Yeah, I've got a couple people that I know one girl's looking to buy in November, so I sent her some when the mortgage people yesterday I believe it was, yeah. So told her to go ahead and get pre-qualified and we'll see where she's at or where we need to get her at to get ready to buy in November. And then I have another one. It's actually my little brother and he lives in Breedyville and he's wanting a house that's completely out of his price range, but um, and so I was thinking about what you said the other day about having that builder, and that's why I asked, does he build just in Memphis or all of Tennessee? Because, there's a lot of land out where he lives available. There's just not a lot of houses in what he's looking for available.
Okay.
So, I probably need to figure out how to navigate that process, maybe.
Yeah. So how far away is that?
Reedyville, oh, it's about 5 hours away.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, though.
Yeah, it's in Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could always buy land and then have them build. If even if it was something, smaller.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what his budget is, but I know you're saying he wants something out of his budget.
Well, yeah, he's got like 6 kids, so he needs a big house. But I think he's trying to stay around either 3 or 4. I'll have to look back at the messages and see. But yeah,
Okay. Steven, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I had a meeting with a couple, but they were kind of like on they liked a specific house, and that was kind of getting them motivated into looking more. But at the same time, they were like, oh, we've put a lot of effort and work into the home that we have currently, and so we're kind of like they're like, oh, we're not that rushed, you know what I mean, or anything of the sort. Not really that I'm trying to rush them, but they're kind of like talking very proactively about needing more space and wanting to do it, but and being nervous about really kind of like being in a seller market. The buyer market they feel optimistic about, but then since they're selling and buying, they're kind of like, oh, well, I don't know if I'd be willing to let go of my home for that amount or so. They're a little nervous, even if it looks kind of comparable. Because I'm was kind of looking at them and I'm like, well, I mean, the other home is a bigger home, bigger piece of property, bigger fence and everything like that. It's a little bit of an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I think what we left off was they wanted to talk to their finance person and see like how much leeway they had. I tried to kind of like rephrase it more as like I guess like how much would you like kind of like you said, like what would the monthly payment look like if you were expecting a monthly payment for an upgrade or anything like that? But um
Justin, how would you handle that if they're like they're okay in their house, but they would like to move?
I, I actually, I would lead generate more so that you didn't have to pressure those people. That
exactly.
you're just trying to fill the pipeline. Because if I could show you my screen, which I guess I could, but if you look at my opportunities right now in Command, they're active listings that the people have already said, yes, I'm going to list with you, or we're getting ready to go. I know it's a little bit different scenario here with your client saying, hey, we're not in a rush. They're not highly motivated, but sometimes people take a while to get a home ready to go on the market. And if you get enough of those, then it never feels like, oh, I just got to get this one. You're just trying to keep the pipeline going. That makes sense. So
Mhm.
I would think about who are the people that I know, communicate with those people, and then how can I grow that number to communicate with more? So that if there is anybody that's not highly motivated to sell, like, hey, our house is great, we found the right one or whatever we buy, you just need to keep looking then to find more that are motivated now, or more so that you're slowly moving people down the pipeline to getting actively listed. Does that make sense?
Hmm. So pretty much they're not like I think what you're saying is they're not highly motivated, so just keep in touch with them, but go find the next one.
That's what it sounds like to me, Stephen and Linda. But I'm not talking to them, but it sounds like to me it's like low motivation. So you need to go out and just call more, or however you choose to lead generate more. Find those that are motivated right now.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you. That's kind of where I was feeling too, was like I did not to really stop talking to them, but just that, I mean, you can't really force someone to be ready if they're not really entertaining the idea of moving forward in many steps, right? Like they were kind of first like, oh, there's a lot we need to do to the house, but then by the end of it, they were like, well, there's really not much. It's just fixing one chimney, but are we ready? And yeah, the conversation just kind of shifted a little more.
And if you keep in touch with them on, doing a DTD2
Mhm.
once every 3 months, when they're ready, Stephen, they're going to think of you. And that's what you just want to do, is make sure that they think of you when that motivation changes for some reason. Or if they come across somebody else that's more motivated than them, they'll refer them to you.
hmm. That's true. One of the first things that when I got into coaching with my coach for real estate was if they don't, like, you have to find out when and why for everybody. If they don't have a really good why, then they don't get added to the pipeline. They're just a someday seller, right? They're not truly in your pipeline for like, because your pipeline is at least how my MAPS coach said it was your pipeline should be somebody that's going to buy or sell in the next 12 months. If they're 2 years from now, you don't need like they're in the DTD2 and follow up with them and they can be in the pipeline for 27. Because or you're building a pipeline for your whole career. So that's okay. Don't hone in on that person. Go back out and do more open houses or however you need to meet people. That's a good point, Justin. Um,
Thank you. Really great.
yeah. How's everything going for you, Justin? Are you having a strong start to the year?
So far, it's been great. Need to lead generate more. I just maybe kind of a selfish prayer, but I'm not necessarily asking for money when I pray for God. I'm like, hey, God, just give me one new person to help today. That's my goal. And so that's how I start every day, lead generating. Like, hey, just give me one new person to help. Doesn't mean I'm going to make money out of that person, but somebody to help. And then I need to be prepared to help them however it
They
is.
need it. Yeah,
It's real
I love
estate,
that.
something different, or, you know, it's never going to lead to any business, just help them. So, but it's going well. Still the same thing, calling and following up with the database. It's kind of boring, but it's the same thing over and over again. We're uh, we're doing pretty well so far. Year to date, we're at get 11 total for January and February, and we're looking at potentially 12 for March.
11 in January and 11 in February, or total?
3 in January, 8 in February, 12 in March, and we've got a few on the books for April right now.
Okay, sweet. Y'all are crushing it.
Oh.
Just keep doing the same thing over and over. Justin's the poster child for the boring stuff works every time. So you guys, have y'all been down to Deals and Donuts? He hosts Deals and Donuts on Thursdays, which is basically you kind of get to see him lead gen and kind of hold you accountable to your hour or two that you're doing it. And that way you get to share and get that dedicated lead time. And truly, Justin just does what we just did, right? As you have conversations, he'll say, like, oh, okay, maybe you could have handled it this way, or call them back and say this, just to kind of help you with your exact situation. So he gives that time. So I would highly, highly recommend going down there on Thursdays, if you can, to the South Haven office. So,
Okay.
yes, what day is it? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, so South Haven at 9 to 11 next every Tuesday, Casey.
Every Thursday.
What'd I say?
Thursday, Tuesday, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the calendar seeing today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
I told you I'm a little bit sick. But anyways, we will be back in person next week. So we're having Justin, you guys may like this. We're having Dynasty Wealth come, and they're talking about how to shield your money for taxes for independent contractors. So it's a wealth person. I don't know who. Dynasty Wealth is their name, but that's what they're going to be talking about, is how to basically pay less in taxes when you're self-employed. So we'll be in person next week, and then we'll have a broker open after again. So if you have a listing that you want us to send out for Zip Flyer and do it, please send it our way. If not, I have one coming on the market on Saturday, just so we have one. But I'd rather it be one of y'all's so that we can send it out. So if you know anybody that has one, or if you have one, let us know. We'll send it out. So I'm gonna let you guys go today, since do you have a question? Sorry.
Yeah. How do we figure out where the broker opens are?
So since you've started the past 2 weeks, we haven't had them because of spring break, but we will always post them on Facebook. They will always be on the email that you get from Felicia every week. And then we also send them out in Zip Flyer. So once, we send them out from the office for Zip Flyer, meaning it goes out to the whole MLS. So you should also get an email from the MLS or from Zip Flyer. So if you come to team meeting in person, we tell you where you're headed when you leave.
Okay.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Awesome. Well, okay. I'll give you guys a few minutes back in your day. Thank you so much for getting on, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow at Bold, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. See you guys soon.